All right, let's get straight into the heat of the battle because what we are seeing on the morning tape today, February 25th, 2026, is a total systemic failure that the mainstream media is desperate to keep off your radar. John A.G. has been tracking the morning smash for over a decade, and I've never seen anything like this. Usually, between 7 COE AM and 8 COE AM, we see the bullion banks dump millions of ounces of paper silver into the New York Open to trigger stop losses and drive the price down. But today, the smash was met with a brick wall of physical demand. For every paper ounce they sold, a physical buyer was there to catch it and demand immediate delivery. The banks are no longer pushing the market. They are being crushed by it. The shorts are officially cornered, and the exits are blocked by an empty vault. The data hitting the screen right now regarding the COMEX Registered inventory is the most alarming set of numbers I have ever analyzed. We are now officially under the 80 million ounce floor. To put that into perspective, the global industrial demand from the solar and EV sectors alone is set to consume over 40 million ounces this month. We are looking at a market that has less than 60 days of registered supply left if the current drain continues, and yet the March delivery month has 5 times that amount in open interest. John A.G. is telling you right now, the math has reached the point of no return. You cannot satisfy a 400 million ounce paper demand with 80 million ounces of physical metal. This is the definition of a default, and it is unfolding in real time while the world is distracted by political theater. Look at what is happening in the London markets as the European session hits its peak. The lease rates for silver have spiked to levels we haven't seen since the 1980 Hunt Brothers era. This means the big banks are so desperate for physical metal that they are willing to pay astronomical interest just to borrow an ounce of silver for a few days to settle a contract. This is a massive SOS signal. When the lease rates go vertical, it means the interbank market has frozen. No bank trusts another bank to return the metal. John A.G. sees this as the final signature of a force majeure event. They are out of silver, they are out of time, and they are out of excuses. The paper system is a sinking ship, and the captain has already jumped overboard. We have confirmed reports this morning of system offline signs appearing at major regional bank branches across the Western Corridor. This Wednesday blackout is being blamed on a technical glitch, but John A.G. knows better. Follow the money, not the headlines. While the digital systems are flickering, we are seeing massive off-exchange EFP, exchange for physical transactions, moving through the tape. They are settling the big players behind closed doors while the retail public is locked out of their accounts. This is a bail-in maneuver happening in plain sight. They are freezing the liquidity so they can reorganize the collateral before the masses realize that the $35 trillion debt wall has finally collapsed under its own weight. Let's talk about the Asian man you see in the data, the Eastern buyer. The Shanghai Gold Exchange has just closed its morning session with a premium that has defied all logic. We are looking at silver trading for $15 higher in China than the spot price in London. This isn't just a gap, it's a total decoupling of the global financial system. The East is now the price leader. John A.G. has warned for months that the west to east drain would eventually leave the COMEX with nothing but dusty shelves and paper promises. Today, that prediction has become a reality. If you are a silver miner in Mexico or Peru, why would you sell your metal to New York for $30 when you can ship it to Shanghai for $45? You wouldn't. The Western markets are being starved of oxygen. The industrial panic has reached the highest levels of the green energy supply chain. I am receiving reports from primary sources within the semiconductor industry that silver lead times have extended from 3 weeks to 6 months. Apple, Tesla, and Samsung are now in a bidding war that the bullion banks cannot control. They are no longer buying futures. They are buying physical directly from the mine sites. John A.G. is tracking these direct-to-mine contracts, and they are bypassing the exchanges entirely. This means the COMEX is becoming irrelevant. It is a casino that has run out of chips, while the real game has moved to the private market where the price is already in the triple digits. Why is the military guarding the central bank hubs today? Because when the bail-in goes live and the digital balances adjust, the public's reaction is the greatest fear of the establishment. John A.G. isn't here to give you a buy signal. I am here to give you a survival signal. The $35 trillion in debt is a mathematical black hole that is now consuming the collateral of the middle class. If your wealth is stored in a digital database owned by a failing bank, you do not own that wealth. You are an unsecured creditor. The only way to step outside of this bail-in zone is to hold the physical asset in your own possession. This is why they hate silver. You cannot bail in a silver bar that is sitting in your safe. The morning smash failed today because the naked shorts have run out of borrowable metal. In the past, they would just borrow metal from the ETFs to sell it into the market and suppress the price. But John AG has been monitoring the ETF inflows and outflows, and the sub-custodians are reporting that the metal isn't there. It's been rehypothecated, meaning the same ounce of silver has been promised to 10 different people. This is the ultimate Ponzi scheme, and the 7:30 a.m. tape today shows that the 10th person just showed up and asked for his metal. The system is breaking because you cannot satisfy 10 owners with 1 ounce of silver. The music has stopped and there are no chairs left. The gold to silver ratio is currently undergoing a violent compression. While gold is holding its own as the premier monetary asset, silver is exploding as the strategic industrial asset. John AG has pointed out that during every historical reset, silver outperforms gold by a massive margin because it is more consumed and more manipulated. We are seeing the ratio drop from 85-1 towards 60-1 in a matter of days. If this ratio reverts to its historical mean of 15-1, while gold stays at $5,000, you are looking at silver prices that the human mind can barely comprehend. The rubber band has been stretched for 50 years, and it is now snapping back with the force of a freight train. The no-hype philosophy is about looking at the primary sources. If you look at the Mexican mining data from this morning, production is down 15% year over year. The ore grades are declining. It is becoming harder and more expensive to get silver out of the earth. John AG knows that the cost of production is the ultimate floor for any commodity. When you factor in the energy costs, the labor strikes, and the declining grades, the true cost of silver is already above the current paper price. This is a structural anomaly that can only be solved by a massive vertical price revaluation. The market is currently mispricing silver because it is blinded by paper leverage, but the physical shortage is the ultimate reality check. Every emergency update I provide is based on the tape, and the tape is telling us that the plumbing of the financial system is clogged. We are seeing fails to deliver, FTDs, hitting record highs in the silver-backed equities. This means that even the people buying silver stocks aren't getting their shares delivered on time. The counterparty risk is at an all-time high. John AG is telling you that the bail-in isn't just for cash, it's for anything digital. If the cyber polygon narrative plays out and the internet flickers, who has the records? This is why the John AG logo stands for physical integrity. In a world of digital lies, the physical metal is the only ledger that cannot be erased or glitched. Let's talk about the psychological warfare being used against you. The headlines today are talking about silver is a bad investment and gold is overbought. This is the oldest trick in the book. They want to shake you out of your position right before the moon shot. John AG has seen this movie before in 2008, in 2011, and in 2020. They create a false narrative to buy your metal for pennies on the dollar. But the 2026 scenario is different. This time, the vaults are actually empty. This time, the East is actually bidding. This time, the debt is actually $35 trillion. The old tricks aren't working because the physical world is finally demanding its due. The Wednesday blackout is more than just a technical issue. It is a controlled demolition of the old currency. As the dollar loses its purchasing power, they need a distraction. They need a crisis to explain why your savings are worth 50% less than they were a year ago. John AG is tracking the velocity of money, and it is starting to spike. People are realizing that holding paper is a losing game. They are pumping into anything real. Real estate, food, gold, and most importantly, silver. Silver is the small man's gold. And when 8 billion people try to fit through the silver door at the same time, the price doesn't just go up, it teleports. In Mexico, the mine strikes have entered their second week, and the government is considering nationalizing the strategic metal reserves. John AG has warned about nationalization for years. If the governments decide that silver is too important for the national interest, defense, energy, tech, they will simply stop exporting it. This would remove 20% of the global supply from the market overnight. Imagine what happens to the COMEX price when the single largest producer stops shipping metal. It would be a limit-up move for 10 days straight. The bail-in is live and the supply chain is dead. This is the perfect storm that the bankers feared, and it is happening on our watch. The tape reading for the midday session in London shows that the big four bullion banks are desperately trying to cover their short positions without moving the price. But you can't buy 50 million ounces in a thin market without sending the price to the moon. John AG sees the iceberg orders on the screen. They are trying to hide their buying, but the volume profile gives them away. They are terrified. They know that the March delivery month is the end game. They are the ones who created this paper monster, and now the monster is turning around and eating them. The hunter has become the prey, and the prey has no silver. Look at the solar hunger. Every country on Earth is trying to build energy independence through renewables. But you cannot build a solar-powered future on a foundation of paper silver. John A.G. has spoken to industry experts who say that by 2030, the solar industry will need 100% of the current global silver production. That leaves 0% for electronics, 0% for medicine, 0% for the military, and 0% for you. The math of scarcity is the most powerful force in economics. When something is needed but unavailable, the price becomes infinite for those who absolutely must have it. That is where we are headed. The $35 trillion bail-in is live because the interest on the debt is now the largest line item in the budget. The system is bankrupt. John A.G. isn't here to sugarcoat the situation. We are entering a period of hyper-stagflation, where the economy shrinks while prices explode. In this environment, the safe haven assets are the only things that survive. Silver is the most undervalued safe haven on the planet. While gold has reached all-time highs, silver is still 50% below its 1980 inflation-adjusted high. This value gap is about to close with a violence that will shock the financial world. The Asian man in the thumbnail isn't just shocked, he is witnessing the end of an era. The John A.G. philosophy is, I sell nothing. I don't want your money because I want you to use that money to secure your own future. The financial warfare education I provide is designed to give you the information edge over the banks. They have the algorithms, but we have the data. They have the paper, but we have the physical. Today's morning tape is a victory for the physical stackers. We saw the smash, we saw the failure, and we saw the panic. The Wednesday blackout is a sign that the digital walls are crumbling. Stay sharp, watch the tape, and don't let the paper lies steal your physical future. We are heading into the afternoon session where the volatility is expected to double. The New York pit is buzzing with rumors of a major bullion bank seeking a lender of last resort for their silver obligations. John A.G. will be tracking this minute by minute. If a major bank defaults on its silver delivery, the domino effect will be instantaneous. Every other bank will pull the plug to save themselves. We are in the chain reaction phase of a systemic collapse. The morning smash was their last-ditch effort to regain control, and it failed miserably. The market has spoken, and it is screaming for silver. I'll leave you with this for the morning update. The vaults are empty, the bail-in is live, and the Wednesday blackout is just the beginning. Stay disciplined and keep your eye on the registered inventory numbers. If that number hits 0, the game is over and the new system begins. John A.G. is here to guide you through the fog of war. I will be back for the 8:00 p.m. update with the final closing data from New York and the opening data from the overnight Eastern markets. Stay sharp, stay focused, and keep your eye on the physical. All right, I'm out.